Welcome to Left Foot, Right Foot Podcast, our new podcast, which is business only, no politics. And today we have one of social media's biggest stars with over 10 million followers. That's about 9,990,000 more followers than I have. 10 million followers across Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Unbelievable. It's the doggist, Elias Friedman. Here he is in person.
Whoa.
I am so honored to have him on my new show. The show is about success, failures, and lessons learned. And today we're going to go over a bunch of stuff, but I don't know, about a month ago, I had an opportunity to go down the street with Elias and his photographer and watch him work. He has these Instagrams of him walking down, introducing himself to not only the dog, but also the dog's owners, and doing a shot. And we had a fun time. We were on Worth Avenue, and there was this guy that owns, I'm not going to say his name, he owns an exotic pocketbook store with the Birkin bags and everything. And you could tell he was a bit fussy, and he did a great job with his dog. It was so much fun. But there's so many great stories that Elias has. One of the things I want to talk about today is that he has a New York Times bestseller out, and he is now starting to promote. And the book that's out already is a picture book, right?
Yeah, like a coffee table book.
Right, coffee table book. His newest book that he has coming out, when's that coming out?
June 10th, I think.
June 10th. It'll be the doggist, right?
It's called This Dog Will Change Your Life.
Okay, This Dog Will Change Your Life. What a great book by Elias Friedman, the doggist, aka the doggist. And it's going to be not a picture book, but actual.
It's a written book. It's about how dogs change our lives and make our lives better. And it's sort of like a self-help book in a way.
So why don't you tell our audience, what is your secret sauce? What exactly do you do that you can tell all the people that aren't followers of you right now? What is it that makes what you do so magical? Everybody loves dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had dogs my whole life with my kids. We've had 3 or 4 dogs along the way. I love dogs, but I'm not a great dog owner because of the responsibility. But I was lucky. I always had people around me to help me with if I was one-on-one with a dog, it would be tough. But what is your secret sauce in your Instagram and all your followers?
Well, I think dogs are one of the few things that's universally loved. Like with politics or lots of other things, like people disagree on lots of things. We're on different sides of the aisle, but dogs are like one thing we can all agree on. If you're a dog person, then no matter what type of dog you have, no matter what your politics are, no matter where you're from around the world, it's like this unifying, positive, joyous thing. And I think nowadays on the internet, everything is very shocking and makes you feel worse when you are finished scrolling on Instagram. And dogs just kind of make you feel better because they have like the same emotions we have. They live with us and they're happy. And so why couldn't we be happy?
So Elias does a lot of charity work with dogs, and he just got back from the fires in California and to rescue dogs.
Yeah. No,
I mean, that must have been quite an experience.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people lost their homes and they couldn't take their dogs necessarily with them to wherever they were staying. So a lot of the shelters had to take these dogs temporarily. So they're like, these dogs are displaced. So we helped with that whole process, and we helped raise over $200,000 for rescues that need help with all types of things.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, in a situation like that, I guess you don't know the facts, but estimate how many people actually reconnect with their dog. I mean,
reunite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you hope they all do, but if you're fleeing from a fire, maybe you don't have time to get your dog ran away because it's scared. I mean, that must feel horrible. Like, where's my dog? Is it still alive? And then hopefully someone finds it, takes it in, brings it to the shelter, and there's a reuniting.
Right. So we don't talk politics, but we're going to get into a little politics here. The doggist did Joe Biden's dog.
Yeah.
Was it Commander, that dog?
Commander, yeah.
And was that the dog that was biting the Secret Service agents, or was that
I
his new
think
dog?
I think a few of his dogs have
So
been.
what was that like going to the White House?
It was an
and-
honor. I mean, could you imagine, being invited to the
So
White
he's
House?
so famous, folks, that the President of the United States, whoever is in office, called him to photograph their new dog, their new puppy.
Yeah, no, I have one of the biggest dog pages. So when Joe got a new dog, I was.
Is that what you call him, Joe?
Yeah,
Now,
we're
Mr.
with first name basis. And the president, he was pretty chummy, with he had good like dog energy. You could tell he was
Did
just
he?
used
He
to
was
having
a
dogs.
good dog owner?
Yeah, like I remember, I had 15 minutes with just the dog before my 10 minutes with the president. And he stepped out of the Oval Office and he did like a finger whistle, like a loud whistle, and the dog like came running, and then he ran away. So we had to like wrangle the dog. But he was like, in the rose garden, just playing around with his dog, and he was very natural with it.
So that was his puppy, or his
It was his puppy.
Right.
His
Did
German
you meet the
Shepherd.
dog that was biting the Secret Service?
No, I only met the puppy.
Right.
But these dogs are German Shepherds. They're like not used to being like told what to do. And so living in the White House is kind of a strange environment for that type of dog. And you have like Secret Service moving the dog, and that kind of thing just ends up happening where the dog might start nipping at people.
So I guess in your experience, you see all these different kinds of dogs. Is there any one special dog you like to work with, or easier to work with, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a group of dogs called like the sporting group, like Labradors, Retrievers, dogs that you like hunt with, and they have this energy where they like look to you like, what should I do next? What should I do?
Oh, that's fun.
And so that is very charming, and it's like that they'll listen to what you have to say. Whereas like a hound dog, they will just follow their nose. They'll lock into a scent and go. So they're not looking at you for instruction. So it's harder to train a dog like that because they're like just following their nose. They're like a little, I don't know, stubborn.
So have you ever been caught off guard, when you walk up to random people on the street, at least when I've been with you, you go up to
Yeah.
random people on the street. And last time I was with you, it was Worth Avenue, which is a really ritzy area here in Florida. Fancy area. And there's areas that you go, but I mean, I guess your show has all different kinds of unique experiences going into inner cities and walking around
Yep.
Manhattan where you live. And I don't know, am I allowed to say that? He lives in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Worth Avenue, where a lot of the people, not that I'm going to say they ship vanilla ice cream, but it's a very, very fancy area. I
Yeah, the most.
apologize to everybody in Worth Avenue,
Yeah.
but most of them are very, very nice, but some of them are stuck up, and your approach to them was incredible. Everybody to
Well,
a person was.
It speaks to that like universal thing about dogs. Like no matter who you are, I can talk to you because you have a dog, and they want to talk to me because I respect their dog. It's just an entry point.
And this guy, by the way, folks, is a stone cold celebrity. I mean, we're walking up and down the street. He has his cameras and everything, but he's recognized by more people than me. I mean, it's shocking.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's not what I intended to have happen. It's like
well, last night somebody came up to you. Two people came up to you at the restaurant.
I've gotten used to it, and they're happy to just tell me that they get a lot of joy from watching what I do.
Well, I'm not going to butter you up here, but you are always extremely gracious. I mean, for all the summers that in the Hamptons where we see all these celebrities, a lot of them are somewhat assholes, and maybe rightfully so. They don't want to be bothered. They want their private time. But you're always so gracious, and you always take the time to talk to the people. You are genuinely interested in talking to them about their dog, and
Yeah.
you ask them about funny stories about
Yeah.
their dog, and people love to engage.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
people will tell you the most embarrassing story about their dog like instantly, whereas they won't share anything about themselves or their kid. So it's very like liberating to be like completely honest about your dog because your dog's not going to be embarrassed. So it's
Right.
like a really nice feeling to just like tell a story and not have to hold anything back.
But it just shocks me that people are just so open when some random person walks up to me, maybe it's the gear that you have or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but if somebody random walks up to me, I'm kind of closed about it. But everybody to you is very, very open, whether they
Yeah, I
recognize
don't
you
know.
or
I mean, you've seen my process a little bit. I sort of have a relaxed demeanor. I give them a little space. I, point to the dog, and some people say no, but most people are fine with it.
so when you the outfit that you typically wear, I know it has certain
Uh
pockets.
huh.
Is that all by design for
Yes,
like
the dog pants.
dog pants?
Yeah.
Okay, explain that.
Well, I have all the things I need. So I have treats in one pocket. I have squeaky balls in the other. I have lens wipes. I have
It's
um,
a system.
and if dogs jump up on me, then the pants don't like get gross.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a great system and you're very recognizable
Yeah,
because, you're wearing kind of a uniform,
yeah.
something that,
And I think I'm the only person who really does what I do. So I've sort of cornered that market a
right.
little bit.
That's why you have 10 million followers on
Right.
social media. But since we talked about Joe Biden, the other side, which is kind of interesting, Donald Trump, we kind of Googled it before we came over here, is one of the few presidents that doesn't own a dog.
Hmm.
I don't know if he ever owned dogs, but currently he doesn't have a dog.
Yeah. I just put out a Substack post about this.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like he's had dogs, but he takes pictures with the Westminster winners. So I think he likes the idea of like a winning dog and like a purebred dog. But I saw a video of him welcoming one of the dogs that took Al Baghdadi,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
special forces dog,
Right. Wow.
and it's this Belgian Malinois, which is a very like intense breed, and you could tell that he wanted to keep a little distance, and he wanted to honor the dog, and he respected it, but he didn't have. Whereas Mike Pence was behind him, like petting the dog.
Right. He's
So-
a dog guy.
So it's just everyone has their own way about it.
So have you ever done any special forces dogs photograph? Because they send them in to
Yeah.
they send them into
I've,
those houses when they go
I've-
for those kills.
I've
and stuff.
done a bite hit myself where I put the sleeve on,
Wow.
and at the MTA PD in New York, I went to like Stormville, which is their like training facility, and they have dogs that do protection work like that, where they send the dog to like stop someone, and it's pretty crazy. Like they squeeze hard. Obviously, they you have a protection, you have a bite sleeve, but it's kind of scary because all the officers are watching you. They're like, watch this like Instagram guy is about to get bit.
I
And-
saw a documentary on when they went to get Osama bin Laden, I guess it was, where they actually send the dog in first with cameras,
right. Like,
right?
you scope it out.
And scope out the thing, and the dog's running around with the camera, and they can see.
The dog is much better than a robot for everything. Smelling, getting over obstacles, like having intuition.
So you also did a documentary. You went to a prison.
Uh-huh.
So tell us a little bit about that. There's a whole thing with prison inmates and dogs.
Yeah. No, this program is called Puppies Behind Bars. And these guys, who are spending their whole, a lot of time, and they're just like wasting a lot of time, or help raise dogs to become service animals for, veterans or people with disabilities. So it's a great way for them to give back to the community if, they've committed a crime.
Now, does that dog actually live in the prison or visits
For the
prison?
week, the dog leaves on the weekends to go spend time like being socialized, at Home Depot or something.
Right. Now, was that scary going into a
A
prison?
little bit. Yeah.
And were the prisoners, again, dogs are universal, were the prisoners like these killers? Were they friendly to you?
No, I
They're
mean,
like,
the
this
people
guy's
that
the
are the
doggest?
people that get to be in this program are like the most well-behaved
Oh,
people, and they call them incarcerated individuals. It's sort of more PC than prisoners, because one of the things that happens in prison is you become like dehumanized, and you're just seen as this, and that can weigh on you. So the dogs help them feel their emotions again. Like they feel like people. And one of the things that was remarkable is that this whole system is designed to like judge them. The judge judges you. Everyone in there sees you as a criminal, but the dog doesn't see you that way. Dog doesn't judge you. So it's like this.
that is so cool. I never thought of
Yeah.
it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when you come out of a situation like that, do you feel differently about prisoners and prisons? Because it becomes more real. It becomes more of like these people are, even though they're incarcerated, they are human beings. They have
Yeah.
feelings. And
hmm Yeah. No, it gives you perspective. Uh, it's hard to imagine living your life in a space like that where you just every day is the same. You live in a small box and you go in the yard and you just it's like you're missing the world keeps going and you are just stuck in one spot.
right. So, do you think dogs recognize the difference between living in a mansion and living in an apartment? I mean, like, I'm not. I've always had dogs, but I'm not tuned into dog feelings. I
Yeah.
mean, is their behavior
Yeah, I
change?
think it depends on the breed. If you have like a working breed, like a border collie that needs to run around, get all its energy out, they're
Right,
not going to be happy in an apartment. But if you have a lap dog, won't matter how big the space is.
right,
Even a Great Dane is happy to be a couch potato.
right. And what kind of dog do you
We have
have?
a husky mix, so she's sort
Husky.
of in between, but she's happy to chill inside.
And is that a shedding dog?
Absolutely. They have a double coat. They have like a lower coat of like fluff and an outer coat, so they shed a lot.
So, when people are deciding to buy a dog, if there's a list of five important, it's like a piece of real estate in my business. I can get a bigger house in a less desirable school district. I can get a smaller house in a better school. Like when they decide to purchase a dog for the first time, what do you think the top five items list, or is it the size of the dog? Is it
Yeah,
the shedding of a
yeah.
dog, or
Well, I
the
think
color of their, like your dog I saw a picture of has the blue the
blue
blue
eyes.
eyes,
hmm
right? It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Gorgeous dog.
I think people these days are more focused on aesthetics and size, but they'll see on Instagram like, oh, look who has this dog. Look, this celebrity has a dog, and so they'll make a decision based on that, and then sometimes they end up with the wrong temperament. Like I was saying, like a border collie wouldn't be happy in an apartment. Uh, so hopefully you sort of do your research and not just follow a trend online.
Well, let me ask the doggist his opinion. I bought a dog many years ago, I guess 9 or 10 years ago, and they told me it was going to be 35 pounds. Now the dog's 70. Can I return the dog 9 years
If you have the
later?
receipt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I got
Well,
ripped off here. I was told it
wasn't
was
it
a
a
35-pound dog. Now it's a 70-pound dog.
right? Well, wasn't it a golden doodle?
It was, no, it's a golden poodle, I guess
Yeah,
it's
that
called.
they
Yeah, golden
golden.
doodle. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're sort of in the last decade, poodle hybrids have become very popular.
Right.
But there's no real standard. Like with a purebred that's like AKC recognized and it's in dog shows, they've like they've found this like standard and it's very predictable. And because poodle mixes are new, you can end up with a dog that you thought was going to be one size and ends up being totally different. Just takes a lot more time to sort of hone it down to become like an official breed.
So that's my predicament. But when you go to the Westminster Dog Show, I
Coming
mean,
up,
you're an you've
I've
been
been many years.
many years.
Yeah.
So you're the most expert in dogs because you photograph dogs. Do you have a hunch? If I were to say, Elias, I want to make a little money here. I want to bet on a winner. Do you
Yeah.
have a hunch? Like when you see
You know,
1,000 dogs at the beginning, can you get
That's a
down
good
to
question. I mean,
top 10?
Vegas bets on
Oh, do they?
on Westminster.
I was just making that up. I
No,
didn't
they
know.
do. I'm like an expert in some way, but not in the show world. Like it really is very insider baseball with the show world, and it's very niche and it's hard. Like every year there's like a crowd favorite, like the golden retriever. Everyone gets excited when this like favorite comes out, but the judge is looking for something very specific that they're called conformation shows. So which dog conforms to the breed standard the most? So it's like, why did that dog win?
Oh, I see.
Why
Okay.
did that dog win? Most people don't see it, but the judge sees that, and people who are in this know, they can see something that I can't even see.
I love those little hot dog dogs. What are
The
they?
dachshunds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did they ever win, or that's
That's
not?
good. I don't know if one of them have ever won Westminster, but that's a good question.
This gal I used to date had one, and it was the coolest dog because it was so chill. You know, it was
Yeah.
like a nice dog that just
They're
kind of,
popular amongst artists like Andy Warhol and Picasso. I think they had dachshunds.
and then how about those French bulldogs? I mean,
Frenchies, yeah.
yeah, they look, they look
Yeah.
really,
They're like little clown dogs. They have, can have health issues because they have a
right.
smushed face and breathing problems.
Yeah, breathing.
But
They
they're very
always breathe
charming.
heavy.
Bulldogs are fun.
Right. They
Yeah.
always breathe heavy. But when we were talking, I was saying, some girls, like when you go out to these various clubs or restaurants, some of these girls hang out with their girlfriends, and a lot of the girls look the same. They're all either all tall or they're all brunettes or
Uh-huh.
they're. So I asked the same question in a little different way. Do you think dog owners are looking for a dog that reflects their own image, like kind of looks like them or what
Yeah.
they want to, like a tough guy, a big, strong muscle ball,
Yeah.
shaved head guy? Does he want like a whatever
Rottweiler.
a Rottweiler? Yeah, who owns a Rottweiler? Like if I said write down on a piece of paper blindfolded, who owns a Rottweiler? What's that person look like?
I mean, stereotypically, maybe you picture some like muscular guy,
Right, right.
because the dog can act as like a reflection of themselves. Dogs are like the one family member you can choose. So oftentimes people will
That's very interesting.
pick a dog and want it to be like them. So a woman with curly hair might want a curly haired dog, or
Is there any statistics on? I mean, I'm asking you a very random question and I don't expect you to have an answer, but is there any statistics on more women owned dogs than men or more families or?
Well, my audience is like 75% female.
Okay.
So I would probably guess.
Well, you're a really good looking guy.
Yeah, that's the only reason. No, I mean, without the
For
dogs,
this audience, Elias is, what are you, 6'4"?
6'3".
6'3". He's very tall, good looking guy. Go ahead.
No, what was I going to say?
The women, 75% of
Yeah,
yours.
no, I mean,
See, I'm paying attention.
right. Just rapid fire questions.
No, you know what? You have such an interesting subject and you have such a huge following. I mean, Joe Rogan, who's the biggest podcaster in the world, maybe has 30 million people follow him. You have 10 million. I mean, it's staggering.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean, it's
crazy.
just such a popular item. And I have a million questions that I'm never going to get through on the show. I mean, the show's almost over and I didn't even start. But anyway, 75% of women.
Yeah, I think dogs are kind of like kids in a way, or like they're like babies in a way. So I think a lot women have emotional IQ that gravitates towards they want to care for. There's like maternal instinct, and there's a paternal instinct too. I mean, I love dogs obviously as well, but I don't know, maybe it's more feminine.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine here that lives in Boca Raton. We're in downtown Boca Raton, Florida right now. They're down here on vacation, and this guy is an alleged to be, the kingpin of a mafia family. And he is so passionate about his dogs. I mean, he goes to the Whole Foods and buys chicken. He cooks the chicken.
Yeah.
He cuts the chicken up. He makes special food for these dogs every day. And then you look at, his alleged lifestyle or past and how passionate he is about his animals.
Yeah,
it's
people love their dogs more than anything.
They love their dogs.
Dogs love you unconditionally, right? With people, there's all these conditions and drama and weird things that can happen. But when you come home to a dog, they don't care how your day was or what you did yesterday. They're just like unconditionally.
It's like a drink. It's just that drink doesn't talk back
reliable.
To you.
They'll never steal your car or crash your car. So there's nothing really like that. So people love them.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And the question that over the years, I can only speak from my family's personal experience. We had two really, really smart dogs. The third dog, the sweetest dog, was so dumb. And it was just so frustrating. How do you know? Are there certain breeds? I know the poodle's supposed to be the smart, right? The smart
poodles are up there.
Right. And this was a golden doodle poodle, but I mean, last in line with brains. I mean, but such a sweet dog.
Yeah. There was like some studies about ranking the breeds in order of intelligence. I think the Border Collie is the highest. And
Border Collie.
Apparently the least intelligent is an Afghan Hound. It has to do with their ability to learn new things, like pick up a command quickly. That's basically how you can tell.
So this particular dog, we sent back to dog teaching school or whatever it's called. I don't know. I put about 10 or 15,000 into
Right.
this dog,
A
trying to get this
training facility.
training
Yeah.
facility. And it was almost like a rehab. The dog would come back and relapse back into
Right.
like
You
the
have to maintain this system.
yeah, and they came out to the house and tried to teach us all the things that we were, but
Yeah.
you know, I have ADD. I could never teach the,
Yeah.
keep the ball
The
going with
dogs
the
will.
dog. But so this podcast and the book is Success, Failures, and Lessons Learned. So let's talk about the successes of the dogist. Obviously, 10 million followers is staggering.
Mhm.
Failures. I mean, are there any failures that, nobody likes to talk about it, but, you do learn from failures.
Yeah. I mean, the thing
Have you
that's
ever been
popping into my
bitten?
mind is like this saying, a smooth sea's never made a skilled sailor.
Okay.
Right. So it's like you have every time you do something in business, you think it's going to work, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't do it.
Right.
And almost half the time, or much of the time, it doesn't work the way you expected. So is that you might consider that a failure because it wasn't as you expected, but really it's just this part of the process.
All right. So how about the physical aspect of what you do? Have you ever had failures where a dog bit you or, was like,
Not really.
wasn't cooperating when you were
Yeah, I mean that's a micro failure.
right.
When people say no, or I can't get the dog to look at me. But I think every entrepreneur has to have this unstoppable quality where it's like nothing will get in their way.
Right.
They're not discouraged by these little things as having a bad day. You have to just keep going.
So I've looked through. Read both of your books, the older ones, not obviously the new one,
Yeah.
and some of the pictures that you have. And I urge everybody to go out and buy these books, and especially his new one when it comes out. It's going to be a New York Times bestseller.
You can pre-order it now, though.
Wait, pre-order. Make sure he's a New York Times bestseller. What's the name of it again?
This Dog Will Change Your Life.
This Dog Will Change Your Life. But the question I want to ask you about the picture books are some of the greatest pictures that you have ever taken. Did you expect them to come out that way?
That's another good point. Yeah. When I leave my apartment with my camera, I have no idea what I'm going to get.
Right.
And the dogs, I sort of like, oh, whatever. It's not going to be that big a deal. I get an amazing image. And it is unpredictable when this sort of magic happens.
Yeah, I mean, you get a picture of their eyes and the expression on their
the
face.
head tilt.
Right.
Maybe they smile, their tongue hangs out, something goofy. I don't intend to take a lot of these pictures. I just there's an expression in photography like spray and pray.
Right.
Where you just take a lot of pictures, then, oh, that one came out. But you can't really call it luck. It's just part of the process,
So then the last part, success, failures, and lessons learned. I mean, what are the lessons that you would say to anybody about, your craft, your trade, what you're doing? Is there anything particular that you would say really changed your trajectory of your career or your life?
I think doing something that helps people with their lives or solve some problem. So for me, I saw all these dogs running around New York and around the world, and I knew that everyone was curious about them like I was. And so I felt like it was a great idea to help document and tell the story of these creatures that bring us such joy, and how could anyone not love this project? And I was right. From the very beginning, it sort of just like took off. I got a write up pretty quickly, and then had a book deal. And so no matter what little failures I have or setbacks, the core of what I do is very successful, or it's like driving.
What's so special about you is you can tell you love your work.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice part about it is you make a bunch of money, but you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it.
You're passionate about it. You love what you do, and you give so many people joy. And they get to see their animal, their dog,
yeah, they
on
get their
Instagram.
15 minutes. Yeah.
Right? Like that guy on Worth Avenue, he gave me his phone number. I sent him the Instagram clip, and he was so excited about it.
Right. Yeah. No, People love to be recognized and appreciated.
Right. So Elias actually took me to the coffee shop, The Seed,
Yeah.
who was the sponsor, one of our new sponsors here, one of the best coffee.
Great coffee.
Great coffee, smoothies. They have 6 locations, all here in South Florida. I go to the one in Boca Raton on Palmetto Park, but I cheated on them today, and I was on Atlantic Avenue in Delray, so I went to another
Doing
seat,
your
Cassie, who's the gorgeous woman at the front desk there with the curly blonde hair. I cheated on you today. I went to the one in Delray, and it was great. I had the Funky Monkey. It was really great. But these guys turned me on to that, and thank you for that. I'm on a Funky Monkey binge right now.
Can't stop the Funky
Right.
Monkey.
So one more time, the name of the new book.
This Dog Will Change Your Life.
This Dog Will Change Your Life. It's out June 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really excited about it. It's going to be available in Barnes & Noble, I guess.
Everywhere books are sold.
Books A Million, Walmart, everywhere, Target, everywhere books are sold. And I'm sure with 10 million followers, it will just blow off the charts. Pre-order it, because I know with my book, you know, I mean, I'm a new author, not like this guy, and they didn't make enough. And then it took like it sells out, and then it takes 4 or 6 weeks to remake them.
Restock.
And, you know, I did mine during Christmas, which is literally, you know, I'm an idiot. And it's the worst month of the year. Right.
Really?
Yeah. It's the worst month of the year to put a book out. And of course I did it that month. But anyway, folks, thank you for listening. Again, Elias Friedman, the Doggist, 10 million followers across all social media platforms. New book, order it now. And we're excited.
I'm excited.
Thank you very much for coming in today, and have a great weekend. Go Eagles, by the way. Super Bowl next weekend. Philadelphia, we're Philly guys.
Go Birds.
Go Birds, right? We need them to win. This is it, Super Bowl. Anyway, have a great weekend, folks. Thanks.